in a way, it would make sense if we get to like. I mean, imagine we fly along the coast as much as possible to sort of limit the time we have to fly over bare water. If you wanted to be set off like before we fly over the Midland Sea, we could set off with the remains of the elven sorcerers. So you could be tasked with bringing those home.
She'll hit up with druids sympathetic to the elf queen whenever you get to the Wildwood.
All right, that works.
As it turns out, there are druids from just about every iconic faction.
I love those lich druids.
There are a few exceptions. The Mark Mage would be one.
I don't think there are too many Emperor druids.
Go like to see that. I bet there would be maybe a few.
Yes, there are a number of druids even who try and devote themselves to urban life. Those are the ones who typically have conflicted or negative relationships with the High Druid.
Like playing with like rats and like doves and stuff.
Yes. It is
There's another environment.
It is during this immense travel that your group in its entirety will acquire a full heal up, as you are able to reflect and either draw strength or ignore weakness from the events that have transpired. Aurelia will, after 8-9 days, it'll be during one of the nights when you folks are actually have to be resting on the ground, she will awaken.
So she shall. Looking around a bit dazed, but considering that there's birds and the people she knows, and we seem to be like gone from the place, that's good.
Good sign.
Whoa, Aurelia, take it easy.
It's good to see you up again.
I am surprised that I am still able to get up. By all accounts, I should have died there. I was overconfident and, quite frankly, very stupid.
Well, we all learn from our mistakes. Thankfully, you've got the chance to learn.
The Lich Prince commanded the beast that would have killed you to not do so in the last moment.
Well, that is not a favor I ever intend to repay.
Neither should you.
I suppose we left that battle with him still alive, in some strange fashion. Not that we have much of a choice in the matter. I suppose I'll spend a little bit of time telling her what happened after she basically, got ripped out of life.
Sure.
Just fill up.
How have you been keeping your travelers? There's, of course, the corpses. Aurelia's been balanced. What has Geráck done with Leon? Especially during the nights now where the crows have to land.
He's probably tied him up and slept beside him. During the days, he's probably sitting behind him, like holding him, so he doesn't fall off.
Okay.
He does have wounds that need to be tended to, and since we're kind of wanting to keep him alive, Aranas will offer to, try to mend whatever he might have at this point.
Yeah, he will also have his hands bound at all times, in case he wakes up and tries to pull his sword out.
I believe a man with this sort of power would not really be limited too badly by that.
No, but slightly impaired.
I hand him my roll secret. It's funny you mention that now, Goger. Perhaps casting an eye back to where you stashed Leon. His bindings do appear to be very neatly cut. As with a fine, sharp instrument with careful precision. And his hands are just being kept there. Or posed there. Behind his back.
Basically, he's playing nice, but saying, you can't control me, I'm here because I allow you to keep me here. That's what that means.
Yeah, so he's probably awake then, is the...
Geráck, staring down at the body, would now notice that the breathing has shifted a bit.
Yeah. So Aurelia, do you wanted to talk to Leon?
If he's willing to talk to us, then yes.
Well, go right ahead, I suppose.
Tempus
He
will,
will,
be
he will
joining
listen
Ed.
at least. He can't really not do that.
Tempus will be walking over with, kind of wary. He'll be quiet, but coming over.
The lion slowly opens one of his eyes. It is not a weak, bleary-eyed one, but one that expresses mirth, almost as if, damn, you got me.
Hello, Leon.
He
Tempus
can
leans
surely
towards
listen,
Leon?
but it does have to come from him.
Leon's eye lifts to look up from his bound position at Geráck.
How are you feeling?
Not well.
But maybe a bit better.
I'm not dying right now.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean I'm feeling better.
Alright then.
Do you always feel good after defeat, Geráck?
No.
Have you ever felt good after defeat?
No. Not mentally.
Then, no. I can safely confirm I am not better.
Perhaps you should consider the importance of still being able to feel.
I have died before, and I have come back again. Keeping me alive only prolongs this current misery.
Keeping you alive assures that you won't fall into those hands again, also.
I cannot fathom how many times I have to convey that my choices were made by me and for me, and I think you lost any right in telling me what to do when I died down there in that living dungeon. And you really didn't even care about giving me a proper burial. Hexenblade told me everything. Hexenblade even shut itself off so that the intellect assassin controlling my once friend Dwohiram If you would hope to lecture me, perhaps you should try justifying your own actions.
Well, we sure wanted to give you a proper funeral, and we did at some point, but we didn't really have any time to spare because they were very dire matters we had to take care of. After those were dealt with, we did give you a funeral.
Yes, I heard you traveled to a robber's bluff to fight bandits.
Yes.
He closes his eye in a condescending fashion, complete with eye roll.
We went there to rescue a certain... what was her name? Lady... I don't remember.
Hexenblade says Renee Cauldron, whom, as it turns out, wasn't even Renee Cauldron.
Which we didn't know at the time. If we had known, then we wouldn't have gone there at all. Or gone there and killed her.
I can see why your first loyalty would be to someone like her instead of your fallen companion.
Excuse me?
Leon, how many mistakes have you made in all your many lifetimes?
Enough to have me killed in almost every one of those lifetimes.
And
Perhaps
we're
at least-
still alive.
Perhaps you can... Yes, although barely. Perhaps you can then agree that mistakes are not impossible, to say the least. I can only speak for myself, but the entire purpose of a proper burial was quite strange in a sense to me. For me, when I was still as I used to be, death was merely the ultimate sign of weakness. In fact, You're right, though. At least I should have done more for you. I indirectly or even directly did cause your death in the first place. And I'm not pretending that giving you those potions, saving you from the poison, is ever going to be enough to balance that particular fact out.
We should have done more, Leon. And I'm sorry that we didn't. However, is it worth just throwing everything away because we made that mistake?
Leon opens both of his eyes to glare up at Geráck. You traveled all the way to my new home to spit in the face of my hospitality, and then you broke into it. And then he looks over towards a certain someone with a certain implement who took him down. And then I was shot down, bound, and kidnapped.
Yes. You were working with Lord Sarsa, and you had the Orb of Storms, and you brought the White back.
With your assistance, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So you bound and kidnapped me because you didn't like my choice of company?
Well, my reasoning was that if we took you somewhere where you couldn't be returned to Lord Sarsa, you wouldn't be a problem anymore. I can't speak for the others, however.
I just want my Leon back.
Leon's eyes flicker over towards Tempus, and a faint smile crosses his lips.
You remember the time you jumped downstairs to capture me?
Yes, I died shortly thereafter.
Yeah. We always had a bit of silly moves. You know, I still feel guilty for that.
I did not have to jump.
No, you didn't. And that's why I feel guilty. I feel somewhat responsible for, well, Tempest waves a hand at Leon for this.
My companions mattered to me, and I, knowing all too well what can happen to those who do not receive their proper burials, would have ensured, as broken my body as it may have been, that you had your peace, even as much as I could give you, Tempus.
Well, at least we're together again.
Right. Together again. The eyes slide shut.
How much of the time we had together did you fake, Leon?
None of it. I would not have risked my life as I did had I not cared.
I guess you cared enough to turn your life towards evil when...
I guess you
You
cared
betrayed
enough to let your friend be stolen by that evil.
Should I sit by your grave each and every day to make sure no one steal you?
Aranas will break in here, sort of not really knowing Leon. I've tried to stay alone. Says Geráck, I think he understands your view. It doesn't sound like. It looks to Leon. Says it doesn't sound like that is exactly what he needs to hear right now.
I don't care.
Frowned slightly. Says maybe that is the problem.
You would have agreed with my viewpoint, Geráck. After all, the white, as I so clearly noted in the snows of Moonwreck, as the undead train passes by, could not have could not have been freed so quickly or easily without your aid.
You know, this whole unnatural winter started a long time ago, way before that happened. It wasn't my doing that freed the whites.
Oh no. You played a part.
I doubt it.
Leon gives a very dubious look at the Geráck, opening the eyes again and says, well, you are a delusional sort. Dwarves have a tendency to be that way.
Aranas looks towards Aurelia and sort of trying to gesture her like to something.
Tempus gives a knowing nod. It's like, yeah, dwarves are like that.
It's just making it all worse.
What am I supposed to...
Well, you
Could
know,
it-
you could probably get Geráck out of there because he doesn't give a shit about Leon at all.
How much blame do you place upon yourself as well, then, for allowing the mind of your traveling companion, a fellow dwarf, to be consumed from within? How could you have never noticed?
I did notice some difference, but I didn't think that particular thing had happened.
I don't actually
As
think you
I
care
remember-
about any of your traveling companions. You certainly
As-
didn't care about me, and you definitely
As
didn't
I
care enough about
remember,
Goger.
Lord Teraptus examined him afterwards, and he didn't see any difference in him.
Aranas will eye Geráck as Leon says that he doesn't care about any of his companions.
You seem awfully quick to blame others, Geráck.
You seem awfully quick to turn to the other side when your companions doesn't do as you wish.
You keep going to this other side thing. How many sides are there? Just two?
2, but in a broad spectrum, I suppose.
Where are you on the sides, then?
Well, not that you on your side
Could
anymore. at
both
least.
of you just shut up? Thank you. And now, Leon, whatever words you're looking for, I don't know if there are any. Whatever confrontation you're looking for, I promise you I will prevent you from getting, because this is getting on my nerves. What I will tell you is that I'm sorry. That's perhaps all I can ever say.
Leon's eyes slide closed. So I've heard Geráck's opinion on what he wants done with me. What will happen to the lion?
Fucking dwarf man.
I mean, come on.
Aranas will
asshole.
look to Aurelia and to Priestess Olia. Those are the two people he thinks have the most to say here, honestly.
Priestess Aurelia looks over towards Aurelia.
Leon, I think that the two of us are similar in a sense. We both have been in the company of people that others might consider perhaps, kind of makes a vague gesture, the bad guys.
Leon opens his eyes to stare pointedly at Geráck.
Can't fold him.
Geráck looks right back at him.
You can continue, Chief.
In the end, your change has to come from you if you wish to change. If you do not, then this is a pointless exercise.
Leon's lips curl upward ever so slightly. And he says, "You should kill me then, and be done with it, Paladin."
No, I won't kill you. Then you just come back again. Out of our hands.
Aranas frowns.
So you're going to watch over me while alive, when you would not do so when I was a friend in death.
Perhaps
You're
it
not
is
the only
not
person
my,
in this world, Leon. There are other people who need protecting.
perhaps it is not my place to make that offer, but if you wish to rejoin us, then I would let you. If you do not, then I would just let you walk away. We will meet again, of course, but then at least there will be no confusion.
You would let him walk away?
Yes.
Why?
Why would you want to watch over him? Why would you force him to be
So he
as you
can
want
do
him to
no
be?
more harm.
Oh, he will find a way.
He might, but it will be harder for him.
What harm have I done?
You brought back the white. You served a Lich Prince.
You agreed to a deal with a Lich Prince to try and fuel some pathetic, petty plan for your vengeance that you ultimately didn't even follow up on.
Which I regret heavily. And that's where we differ, Leon.
Perhaps it would be more conducive to this discussion if we considered discussing the things that we are. Our similarities. You have said that you did not fake your experiences with us, Leon. And so there must at least be some things you enjoyed.
Of course, there are other traveling companions I have had in the frowns. Numerous attempts at life. I cared for them. And had I not cared, I would not have been so generous with my offer of hospitality when I greeted you all on the ramparts of my prince's castle, offered you in so that we could talk about it, even though Geráck may have tried to smash me apart with his hammer. I actually wanted to have a conversation then.
That would have depended on your actions.
Depended on my actions, you are a bully who would have attempted to impose his will every step of the way.
I don't know what would have happened if we had entered those gates. We might just have been swarmed.
We will never know, Geráck.
Indeed. So if you hadn't, then I would have listened to you and not smashed you with my hammer.
I would support Aurelia's point of view in this discussion. I believe she's right, and I will trust that her decision is the right one. I do not hear in this man arguments that are completely faulty, in all honesty. This group, as it was, might once have been a family. At least that seems to be it. But once a family is betrayed, only few have the tenacity to weather that betrayal and regrow it. His other family, it would seem, that of the dead does not give him the feeling of betrayal that he looks to Tempus, Aurelia, and Geráck and says that you too seem to give. I do not believe that keeping him trapped would be... As we should not... Victory by any means might not be victory at all.
We did wrong him. I would not deny it. But
Do not
letting him
repeat that
go
excuse.
letting him go would bring more suffering to innocents.
You cannot hold the entire world on your shoulders. At times you must have faith and trust that your good actions will be reflected by good actions elsewhere.
Well, that trust would depend on trust in him, and I don't have any.
Leon's eyes slide over towards Aranas and says, "You see the problem."
He says, I have dealt with it extensively myself. I do not understand his stubborn nature, but perhaps the things he has experienced, the betrayal he has felt from his companions, or what he thought was at least his companions, might have forged him into this sort of man. It was not the reputation I was told of when I encountered his past allies, and decided to follow up on that lead to join this group. I do, however, still believe it is the best chance we have of, if not saving the age, then at least guiding the outcome of it into one where the least possible amount of people are dead, and into one where a new balance can be had that will result in a more stable 14th age. I have faith that if we do good actions, if we do not betray what we believe in order to win, then those actions will be reflected, not just in history, but in the world around us. By keeping this man trapped against his will, by keeping him as a... He sort of frowns, as some sort of beast in a cage, we would be committing something I do not believe is right, and that would be reflected in the world around us as something that is not right. Magic and the divine is more than just standard cause and effect. From what I heard about this man, he once was religious as well, perhaps still is. You might understand this connection, perhaps even appreciate it. Thanks to Leon.
Leon does have a look of understanding on his face.
Sometimes, Geráck, we must simply have faith that doing the right thing will result in a good outcome.
You did it once, Geráck.
Well, you acknowledged that you had done wrong in the past, and you wanted to change. But still...
The Lich Prince did also speak of your brother. Perhaps, if you calm down and have apologize to this man for what happened and simply leave it at that, he might give you the courtesy of telling you what he knows about that affair, if anything.
Geráck, Leon's eyes twinkle with satisfaction as he looks towards you.
I doubt that he will give me any information, but as I have said before, Leon, I am sorry for what happened.
Doubt. Lack of trust. Then I will say what I know of your brother. And you will not believe it all the same, but I will know that I have done my part. Your brother was recently recovered in actions by my prince. Vamrilla Rogan had actually been keeping Geráck at home as a plaything, as a torture implement and device to toy with for some time. in the hopes that when you finally returned home, you would not be able to act against her at all, already having both your family, or your father, as well as him, ensorcelled and controlled. Zaza, my prince, in the hopes to actually start a conversation, as I have tried, purchased him. And it was a recent arrival, all the way at the castle. My prince was not able to see him himself, but I beheld him with my own eyes and showed him to his quarters. He is very much about as well as your sister was when we encountered her.
Roll empathy check.
Anyone who wishes can attempt to roll secretly to attempt to gauge the meaning and weight of Leon's words. It's certainly easier to read him than it would have been to try and read the Lich Prince.
I'm good.
Well, I will.
Yes.
I have trust.
It'll be a roll secret check. Anyone who wants to try.
Tempus is trusting in it.
Geráck kind of is, but he's unsure still.
This is nature.
Yeah. So would that be wisdom?
Yes, it'd be a wisdom modifier with a... I suppose you could make a justification for a frost range background.
I was thinking more heir to Grock and Keep actually.
Yes, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I forget the names of your backgrounds at times.